we just saw a clip of the new show Running Point, available for streaming this Thursday on Netflix, which is available right here on Roku, starring Kate Hudson and Jeanie Buss here in support of that here on the program. That shot that we're seeing on the screen of her sitting there on the desk with a basketball looks a heck of a lot like your book cover, Jeanie.
It sure does.
So was this on purpose?
The creative people at Netflix, that they put together the key art, but I appreciate the homage to my book, Laker Girl. But what I love is the little details and the deflated basketball. Obviously, when I've got the ball, it's there. But the deflated ball, just showing like, hey, it's not perfect. It's messy. This is a family business. Stuff happens. And I think, I've learned that most of the businesses in this country are family-owned businesses. So people will relate to the situations that happen with her family, them trying to run a business. But at the end of the day, it's a family that comes together because they want the team to win, and things go better when they all get along and work together.
When were you first approached about this idea of basing a comedy essentially on your existence and how you came to be the governor of the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well,
Jeanie?
when you're in LA, you're surrounded by Hollywood and these creative people. So, 20 years ago, a producer pitched to me the idea of a scripted show based on a character like me, because most of the women in power that you see on television are either a cop or a doctor, and this was something different, and it would be appealing, to men who like sports, because it would be sports, but women would relate to it because a woman's in charge, and that had some traction. And then Desperate Housewives came out, and so they kind of changed. Everybody wanted something more like
soapy something like that.
Instead of that. And so, we dropped that. Then, Linda Rambis, my, partner in the show, the person I've worked with for the last 40 years, we always felt there was a comedy here somewhere. And we just continued to talk to people, and we connected with Mindy and pitched her the idea.
So you pitched Mindy Kaling the idea?
Oh, yeah, yes. And I've been blessed to be surrounded by talent like Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, and now I get to work with Mindy Kaling. It's like another all-star. But she got it right away. But this was 5 years ago. It's taken this long.
Well, that's this business, right?
Exactly. When you're in development, that it really means you're not doing anything.
Even if you're the governor of the Los Angeles Lakers?
I had a day job to worry about.
Yes, you
so
did.
it wasn't like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? But Mindy really got the character and created a family storylines. There's so much here that the show can go so many different ways, and I think it's going to be entertaining for everybody. We'll find something that they can relate to in the show.
It's fantastic. It's great. And Kate Hudson, how did she get attached? Is that anything to do with you?
Well, I recommended Kate, and
you did.
And I'll tell you, it's very interesting that back in the 90s, I ran the Forum. I was the general manager of the Forum. And that's when the LA Kings hockey team had Wayne Gretzky on the team. And, of course, the celebrities came out for the big star, and that included Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. So they used to bring teenage Kate to the Forum. And, they would leave after the second period, but Kate wanted to stay. So they would leave her with me. So Kate would shadow me as, okay, here's how the box office works. Like, she's got such a curious mind. She's an amazing talent. She can do anything. She can do comedy, drama. She's got an album. Like, she can sing. She's so amazing to me. So she's always somebody that I knew understood what I did, because she shadowed me back of the house. And so I said, well, what about Kate Hudson? And Mindy was like, I don't know, she's a movie star. I don't know if she's going to want to do streaming, this. And she goes, but we'll try. And, Mindy kind of underestimates the gravity of her, and people want to work with Mindy. I sure did. And, Kate signed on, and it's gone so great. And then, another interesting, cross point for us is that my husband, Jay Moore, played Kate Hudson's love interest in a movie called 200 Cigarettes. So it's like, not only is she playing a part inspired by me, but she, had a pretend relationship with the man that I'm married to now. It's like we were meant to be. This was meant to be.
You can't make it up.
Right.
So you went from her chaperone, and then she went to be your avatar.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, basically.
On Netflix, on this program.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. First of all, say hi to JJ for me, will you please? And secondly, it's fun to see sort of a make-believe part of your world, but how real is this program?
There's some things that get me angry, that put a lump in my throat, that make me laugh. I'm the first person to make fun of myself. Mm-hmm. And there's, a scene where they talk about posing in Playboy. Uh-huh. And, that is true. I did. Yes. You can't make that stuff up. It actually happened. And so the idea that it's used in the show to kind of make her, taken aback.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it's good that they, for the poster of the TV show, they used your book and not the periodical.
Right, there you go. Right.
Jeanie Buss here on the Rich Eisen Show. Running Point available for streaming this coming Thursday exclusively on Netflix, starring Kate Hudson and Max Greenfield and a great cast. Everyone should check that out. By the way, I'm in episode 3 of this. I'm playing myself, so I'm very good at playing that character. I can't wait to see that episode.
Thank you for that.
Oh, come on, it's absolutely great. In a minute, I'll tell you the connection actually on that front. But I do want to talk about the Lakers with you right now.
Okay.
By the way, everything is just, I can't believe Luka Doncic is a Los Angeles Laker. When you look and see him in your Lakers 77, what are you thinking when you see that?
When in my position, when you see certain players in the league and you think, there's no way I'll ever have that player on my team. It's just impossible unless you draft a star like that. Mm-hmm. They usually don't move. And, when the opportunity came up, we were not looking to move Anthony Davis. He was he was our rock solid player. And so we had to give up a lot to get Luka, but the opportunity to get him. And, I look back and, the last time I saw Kobe alive was about a month before he passed. And he had brought Gigi to the Lakers game to see Luka play because Luka was Gigi's favorite player. And, it's just the idea that Luka is now a Laker. I know how happy that would make Kobe and Gigi.
How happy has it made LeBron?
I think it's working.
No, I know. But I also, listen, Jeanie, I understand the sensitivity here because Anthony Davis is a terrific basketball player and was, I'm sure,
a championship
right there on the ring on your finger from 2020. And I also understand that he was definitely your vision of when LeBron does retire, that's the guy you want people to come down to crypto.com to go see. And I totally get that. And now it's changed. It's now Luka in that role. So I understand the sensitivities about all that when it comes to Anthony Davis, certainly tonight with the Mavericks being in the building. But that said, when did it arrive? When did it finally first land on your radar screen that Luka was a possibility even in your world?
The conversation started a couple weeks before the trade was executed. And what was really important was Rob Pelinka, the general manager, and I we did not want any part of it to leak out because it's very disruptive to a team that's trying to focus on getting better. We have a rookie coach in JJ Redick, and the idea of blowing something up mid-season to make a trade like that, if it didn't go through, would have repercussions. So it was really, tight-lipped, and, each step of the way was, discussed, and, we were able to make a deal that both sides were comfortable with.
Well, mission accomplished on keeping it quiet.
Thank you.
I mean, the number of people that were just stunned. It was the whole world. It was the basketball world, just absolutely stunned that this got pulled off. And that also includes Luka, quite honestly.
He had no idea.
What was your first conversation with him like, if you don't mind me asking?
Just, I think it still hadn't set in with him,
right.
Because it's very humbling to be traded. Nobody wants to go through that. And, he just bought a house and was settling in. And, so I think it surprised him. But I think now, it's been 3 weeks, so he's kind of getting on board.
Well, how have you helped with that process? Like, how have you or your team handled his mental state? Because, again, I totally understand this, not to equate me with Luka, but I thought I was going to be on ESPN my entire life, and I was there for 7 years, and they allowed me to walk, and I was stunned. It took me a long time. A couple times, actually, in my first year on NFL Network, I just said, you're watching SportsCenter. It came out of my mouth. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I totally get it. But so how have you and your team been part of his sort of intake?
We've embraced his family, his management, everything we can do to make his transition smoother is what we're doing. And, it takes time because he's got to decide, he doesn't know LA. He's got to figure out where he wants to live. There's just a lot going on. Plus, he's got to figure out how to fit into this team. Mm-hmm. But, JJ Redick played with him for, I think a month or so with the Mavericks. So they had a relationship. Dorian Finney-Smith, who had been his teammate with the Mavericks, we had just acquired a few weeks before. So, we're just trying to build that continuity, that community where he feels embraced and, he can accomplish all the things that he wants to. And when I met him, the first thing I said to him, because I think a lot of times when players come to the Lakers, there's such a history that it's kind of like, how am I ever going to stand out when all these great Laker players, how am I going to get my jersey up there? And, the first thing I said to him was, you're going to write your own chapter in the Laker history book. We're so excited to have you. And, and then he said, he really wished that Kobe was there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah. I mean, it's that was like a very important relationship, that, Kobe really took him under his wing and was supportive of him. And so I think he feels that even though without Kobe present, that there's that kind of feel with our organization. And, we'll do our best. And
so, again, I know you delegate quite a bit, but were you involved in the first night as to who was introduced last, or is that just Luka and LeBron handling that?
I think that was the
his
team.
First night?
Yeah, that was the team deciding, and I'm not exactly sure whose idea it was, but when that happened, I thought that was a really special moment that they figured that out. And
apparently, it was LeBron who reached out to Luka, and but I would imagine you, as the governor of the team, you would want to make sure you weren't even thinking about that sort of thing, huh?
No, but I mean, that is so like LeBron, and he's captain of the team. That doesn't surprise me if it was LeBron's suggestion.
Well, and I'd love to linger on LeBron, if you don't mind, for a couple minutes here. I've got Jeanie Buss, the Lakers governor. Again, Running Point's available for streaming on Netflix on Thursday. Everyone should check that out. I'm not just saying that because I'm in episode 3, but So you've been through this before with an all-time great, with Kobe and his end game of his career. How do you envision this going with LeBron right now?
You know, I mean, if you know, there was a script writer writing a script, you probably wouldn't have him playing at this well at this age.
He's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. So, you know, and he showed us in the Olympics, he's the best player in the world, you know, and so, you know, he can play however long he wants to play. He has to decide. That's for him to decide. And we're here to help him fulfill that vision.
Do you have any conversations with him about this?
No.
How often do you talk to LeBron? What's your relationship with him like?
You know, I try not to bother him, you know, like he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
He's a multimedia star.
Like you.
And, but, you know, he knows I have an open door policy. So anytime he wants to come see me, he can come see me.
So you don't broach the subject matter and you just figure he'll, but I imagine you'd want him to finish in a Laker uniform, right? That would be your choice.
That would be my choice. And he knows that's how I feel. But again, it's his story to tell, not mine. And so he has to decide how everything's going to go. And that's very important to allow him. He's earned that right to write his own story, his own ending.
Right. And so he will. I just would wonder if it's been you verbalized. You just come to me and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And I want to be involved in it. That's the sort of thing you said to him.
Yeah, because I mean, he watched very closely what we did with the end of Kobe's career, and you have to keep in mind Kobe gave us the best gift because he told us in November of that season, this is going to be my last year. So we had all that time to prepare. And, you know, Kobe was very thoughtful, you know, how he wanted to make the announcement, how he wanted the game where he made the announcement. Every fan that was there got a special letter that unless you were there, you didn't get this letter. So you could prove, you know, it's like Kobe really was thoughtful that way. And I imagine that LeBron will be the same way.
Jeanie Buss here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few minutes left here. So on this program, on this channel, and this platform in Roku, there's going to be a new show launching next month called Women's Sports Now. Every single Thursday, there's going to be an hour-long show. Susie is executive producing and co-hosting it as well. Sarah Tiano, who Chris Brockman is his partner of Sarah. She's going to be co-hosting it, Renee Montgomery as well. And the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is Women's Sports Now. I know you've got WOW, Women of Wrestling as well. Year 3, you said, of it?
Yeah, season 3.
Season 3. And your dad was the original owner of the LA Sparks. What would he think of the WNBA right now? He'd be all in. You know, and I'm so proud of where women's sports is finally. I mean, it seems like an overnight success, but it's, you know, in my experience, it's, you know, 40, 50 years since Billie Jean King played Bobby Riggs, and, you know, Title IX was passed and women got all these opportunities. And I love the personalities. I love that there's various platforms where female athletes get center stage. And, you know, so the show that you just described, that's like my dream come true. These are all the pieces that are coming together to make sure that women's sports survives any challenges to Title IX or any other, you know, challenges that make young women quit sports. You know, when it's so important to have a well-rounded experience when you're growing up, and playing sports is one of those elements that adds to confidence. You know, creates relationships, friendships that last a lifetime. Teaches, you know, teamwork, humility. And so I just want to make sure that women's sports, once I'm gone, you know, that there's more people, you know,
carrying the torch.
Well, and then with women's sports now, Susie says that, and she says it all the time, she wants to have a show that Kobe would be proud of sitting next to Gigi to watch. Nice. And that's what she wants here. And because the competition, the level of competition, the intensity is just as great as the men doing it. Mm-hmm. And also Ike Barinholtz, who's a writer and showrunner of Running Point. Yeah. His daughter and my daughter play on the same team.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, wow. Okay.
Coached by Susie, who at one point complaining about a call, the official kind of mansplained how physical basketball is to her. She almost got ejected. Oh my gosh. From the arena.
I had no idea.
Yes, these are all these are all true stories, and you know, I obviously, you know, want you on as a guest and have you part of this whole show in a way, but it's kind of wild how, you know, in mid-May, in the middle of the NBA playoffs, there's going to be the launch of the WNBA season that is going to be pretty intense when you think about it. Jeannie, you know,
can't wait.
You know, so that's going to be. I just wanted to ask you about that. You know, where we are in this part of the sports world. You know, softball, volleyball, obviously. There's so many other sports, and the March Madness is coming up for the women's side just as much as the men.
Yeah, and the LA Sparks just traded for my husband's favorite WNBA player, Kelsey Plum.
Mm-hmm. So. Same with TJ Jefferson in the corner right over
there.
There
you go. See?
You know,
she's on the list.
She's on. Yeah, I know. We're all big fans. So Running Point available for streaming Thursday, exclusively on Netflix. Tonight's game is pretty huge. It's exciting.
Yeah.
You feeling an extra buzz in the arena because Luka's there now too? You do feel it?
I do. I think my dad would be proud. Kobe would be happy. Gigi would be there sitting on the floor. Her favorite player, Luka.
And I just have to finish by asking you this, Jeanie Buss. There are many people out there who watch you acquire a 25-year-old superstar that nobody thought was available and was technically only what it seemed like made available to you and your franchise. And I understand that once again, the Lakers have gotten a generationally brilliant player to put out there as a crown jewel for this franchise in Los Angeles. And people are like, damn it. How the hell do they pull it off? How do you respond to something like
chip
that?
Off the old block? I don't know. Like, it's something my dad would have done. But, I mean, you have to remember, we had the piece that they wanted, which was Anthony Davis. And so, you know, that's why they came, that's why the conversation started, because they wanted Anthony.
No, I know that there's a sensitivity to this subject matter. I saw your facial expression when I even brought this up, that it's just, being brought on a silver platter to the Lakers, or a golden platter, or a platinum platter, adamantium platter to your franchise.
Yeah, and like I said, we have a rookie coach who is showing a lot of promise in what his career is going to be, and we want to give him all the resources that he needs to be successful, and certainly Luka was on that list.
Check that box, Jeanie Buss. Congrats on the show.
Thank you.
And what appears to be another fun finish to a Lakers season.
Yeah, and really this was all publicity for the Netflix show. That's what Netflix made. Yeah. They made the arrangements to get Luka to come here to get all the attention.
Listen, you tell Netflix Luka's going to appear on season 2, I think you get the green light. That could be helpful. I'm just trying to help. We just try to help our guests be better than when we first found them when they come here. The Los Angeles Lakers governor, Jeanie Buss. And how can people check out the World of WoW? How can people check that out and be involved?
Just go to the WoW website, Women of Wrestling website, and put in your zip code, and they'll show you where you can watch it.
Fantastic. Great. And then check out the Lakers tonight on Turner Sports and Max and Turner Sports and the rest of the streaming world that you could see right here on Roku. Watch the Mavs and the Lakers tonight. Thanks for coming on. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.